Hello and welcome to J Rock's Babylon. I'm your host, Jason J Rock Houston, and we have Luke with us, who is the drummer from the band Tricked Again. You guys are a Cheap Trick tribute. Where are you based out of?
We're based out of Southern California. Most of us live in the Inland Empire. Our singer lives a little farther towards the LA area. But yeah, we've been playing now for a couple of years, but we've had a few bumps along the road. Singers being one of the hardest things to hold down and keep, not through any fault of ours, but just weird circumstances.
Now, you know what's funny is you play the drummer, the Bunny Carlos of the band, and yet, as I sit here looking at you, I don't know if you've ever been told this, but you look a lot more like Rick Nielsen. Ever been told that?
No, no, maybe a camera angle, but
Use the
yeah, well,
glasses, huh? Yeah.
I don't actually want to take anyone to take this the wrong way. I do play guitar. It's my second instrument, but I don't play much Cheap Trick. I'm more of a, I guess you 70s hard rock, 80s hair band type of stuff. But I always played drums on Cheap Trick since my very first show, my first talent show in junior high. We played Van Halen and Cheap Trick, and we won our ninth grade talent show doing that. So I've been playing Cheap Trick for over 40 years. Not wanting to divulge my actual age, but you can do the math.
Well, that's fun. Now let me ask you, you said that although you've been playing Cheap Trick music all those years, that not much of a Cheap Trick fan. So how do you come to join a Cheap Trick tribute band, or did you form a band?
No, no, I am a huge Cheap Trick fan. I just don't gravitate towards Rick Nielsen's guitar playing.
Oh, I got you.
I
I got you. Okay, yeah,
as a player to like Van Halen, Rat, Kiss, Van Halen, um, Aerosmith, Zeppelin, um, Dawkins, George Lynch, Mob, stuff like that. A little harder edge, but no. As far as listening, I have a ton of Cheap Trick albums. There's certain bands I'd rather listen to than learn their stuff on guitar,
sure.
and that Cheap Trick falls in. Kind of like Journey. I like to listen to some Journey, but I don't play much of their guitar stuff. I like Neil Schon. He's a great guitar player, but there's certain people I want to emulate and certain people I don't. Some people I just enjoy their music strictly on a musical
Yeah,
standpoint. Is that
yeah. Now as a Cheap Trick fan, let me ask you. Cheap Trick as a band is all over the place. I mean, for a lot of us who are fans of the band, for me, like classic '70s era, that's a great era. I'm pretty much so. I got to admit, I'm a fan of it all. But if you look at throughout the history of Cheap Trick, their music has elements of punk, rock, pop, and everything in between.
they're
Uh,
eclectic. That's what's one of the great things about them. They don't have a cookie cutter style. Like there's
yeah,
certain I mean, as popular and as good as they are, a lot of their songs are very similar in structure and even chords. Like AC/DC, great band, but look at Cheap Trick and Rick Nielsen's got a very um, interesting chord structures and layers and the way he picture with his guitar. Maybe that's another reason I don't subscribe to his guitar playing. It's too hard for me. It's too complicated. Maybe I like the straightforward stuff a little bit better. So, but he's a great guitar player.
sure,
We
sure,
just
no denying. I mean, he's in a class all his own, really. And what's funny about it is, the big breakout hit they had is, of course, "I Want You to Want Me" off of Budokan Live. That album, that song, but that version in particular. Now, I don't know if you ever heard the original studio version. It sounds almost like a completely different song, like a swampy country song. That
it's
live version, though, that gave that song the kick in the ass it needed.
oh yeah, we definitely do our best to do the Budokan version every night, and seems to go over well that way. So everybody's probably favorite song as far as our audience participation. Everybody knows that song. Not
Yeah, yeah,
everybody knows it.
that's one of those songs that you could be just kind of an average Cheap Trick fan, and you're gonna, oh yeah, that's a song I heard on the radio. Um, Now, if you don't mind sharing with us, what was your introduction to Cheap Trick? What was the song or the album that got you hooked?
Budokan,
Yeah, Budokan. Yeah, and
playing.
I'm a major Kiss fan myself, and a lot of another cool thing about Cheap Trick is I believe it was 1977 when they were opening for Kiss, and Rick Nielsen wrote the song. Surrender, which became kind of a staple, a part of their show where when they would play Surrender in concert, he would throw Kiss records out into the audience. Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
cool. The Kiss fan. As I grew up, Kiss was actually my very favorite band. They ruined me for life. I saw them on Don Kirshner's rock concert, and I got Kiss Alive and heard Peter Chris' drum solo on 100,000 Years, and that started everything for me. And a lot of my friends fall into the same category. Ace Frehley or Gene Simmons. It's just they were a magical act, and to me they were always more about the music. Yes, the spectacle was amazing, but I literally listened to their music. In fact, last night I was by myself. My wife was at work, and I just sat down on my kick-ass stereo and threw Hotter Than Hell on and listened to it, side to side, and just I still listen to them, and I still appreciate them today as I did as a
Yeah.
young
So,
teenager. Well,
yeah,
12, 13 was
so
when I discovered them.
I think I'm going to know the answer here, but mentioning Kiss, sadly we lost Ace Frehley a couple weeks ago. I mean, that must have really hit you. So yeah.
You look on Facebook page for the band. I've done a lot of posts. I'm still not over it, and probably never will be. It's I met him one time, and it's just he influenced me a lot because his guitar style was very catchy leads, little songs within a song. That's what I like to hear it, and it wasn't so technically um, self-indulgent that
Yeah.
I couldn't figure stuff. I mean, he's basically playing along the same lines of style as Jimmy Page, but with a little more supersonic and some more tapping and but his lead solos are fantastic, and especially on the first six Kiss studio albums and the live two and the live one, can't touch him. I love everything he did, and he was one in a million, and he's going to
Uh,
be sorely missed, let alone his ex-wife Jeanette and his daughter Monique, and I know Peter Criss is crushed, and even Gene and Paul, they're not happy with the situation either. I mean, those guys fought a lot, but I know in my heart they loved each other like brothers, and
oh,
everybody
sure.
nobody's situation.
Sure, sure. You can't believe everything you read on the internet, and like you said, I mean, who's going to be happy about somebody you played with all those years ago, passing away? I mean, you can't believe everything you read. But getting back to your band, Tricked Again, um, let's talk a little bit about the history of the band. I mean, when did you guys form, and how did it all come together?
Well, let's see. About 2 years ago, we started tossing the idea around. A couple of the guys in the band I've known forever. The singer is the new person for us. We've known him for about 2.5 years because he was literally uh, the singer for our very first show in Lakewood, California. We played a car show,
Oh, wow.
and well, in fact, that day we had somebody approach us to play at the Long Beach Grand Prix, but then wasn't going to be happening till like 3 or 4 months after the first of that year. So it didn't end up happening because the band just decided things weren't quite right at that time for various reasons.
Hmm.
It was and so we put it on the side for a little while, and then we started missing it, and we said, okay, well let's try to put this together again. And we have a mutual friend named Troy, who I've known for 20 years, and a super good guy, but he also happens to play in a couple other tribute bands. He's in an Aerosmith tribute band. I can't remember their names, so if you ask me, I'll say I don't know. And he's
Okay.
also in a Poison tribute band with our guitar player, and it's called Pick Your Poison, and they're very good. And Troy's been doing that for about 20 years. In fact, that's how I met him. I was, believe it or not, I don't have the right. I'm a little heavier and a little shorter, but I was Tommy Lee in two Motley Crue tribute bands back in the mid 90s. And I had Troy audition, and he was really good, but he had also just started the Pick Your Poison thing at that time. So he's literally been doing that for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
I'm already invested in this one. I like them both, but I really don't have time. I got a young daughter and this and that. And so finally, we parted ways that way, but we stayed in touch. He'd come see one of my cover bands play. We talk every once in a while, get a beer. And then years went by and I hadn't seen him for a while, but Joe invited me to go to see them play at Rock and Brews at the Yamava Casino. And me and Troy reconnected. We started talking, and we invited him to try out for the band, and he did, and we liked him, and we ended up doing 3 shows with him. And we have no hard feelings, but he just had too much on his plate again. He had started a new job that required a lot of travel. He had
Sure.
2 other bands already, established and booking, and he just said, "Guys, as much as I like you guys, and I'm having fun with this, I just can't do 3 bands." And
Sure.
after 3 bowed out, and we're still friends, and we all understand things happen in life. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so we were looking for somebody else. We found a guy that was really into it, had a lot of connections, and seemed to be into it. But at the end of the day, the bottom line with him was we all have job 3 of us own our own businesses, and the other one has a long term career. He's an employee of a company, and he also works a second job on Sundays. So everybody's making a living on top of doing this, not for money at all, even though
Wow.
we do it for fun. And sometimes we get paid decent, and that's not why we do it, though. We just
Yeah.
really have, and we like putting on the show. We're all performers at the end of the day. I've been in several other tribute bands. I was in a really good Tesla tribute band. I was the original drummer for a band called Edison's Medicine. And we did a lot of shows like House of Blues in Anaheim, Coach House in San Juan Capistrano. We played, a variety of tribute band nights at different venues and had a lot of fun with that. But the singer ended up moving to Florida. Now he's in a Boston tribute band and a Peter
Okay.
Frampton.
Yeah. Okay. Well. A lot of people. I don't know if you've ever gotten kind of people get hassle you for playing in a tribute band, but I got to tell you, I've been a long time supporter of tribute bands for one thing, but really really good ones to me. Um, what they do is it's almost like rock and roll theater, especially the ones that get dressed up and try to look the part. Because I'll give you a great example. I seen this band, Guns N' Roses tribute band, Hollywood Roses, years ago, and at the Whiskey, and yeah, Colby Vale, and I mean, I was watching the band up on stage, and it's like I had to pinch myself. It was like Guns N' Roses 1987 era all over again.
We actually, I played an opening slot in the Tesla tribute band. We played in Marina Del Rey at a club, and I stayed the whole night to watch them. They were great. It was amazing. They were great.
Yeah, yeah. And I think why they stand out is they were one of the premier. I mean, they were one of the very first Guns N' Roses tributes. I used to do a pop culture show with this guy, Gar Boris. He's in another great Guns N' Roses tribute called Appetite for Destruction. He does a great Axl Rose. But see, that's the thing, too. I was going to ask you about what you do. I think one thing that makes Trictigan kind of stand out is there's not a truckload of Cheap Trick tribute bands out there playing the scene. Why do you think that is?
I mean, there's
There's
through
a
the
few.
Facebook, yeah, through the Facebook page, I've been put in contact with a lot of them, and I'm not sure. At the end of the day, there's a couple really good ones. There's one that has a female, Rick Nielsen. I can't remember all their names. I'm
Yeah,
friends
yeah.
with Scotty Fretz up in Northern California. He was a Rick Nielsen for like 5 years, and we're still friends. We talk regularly on Facebook. Super cool guy, but I'm not sure. I can't say. But the good news is in Southern California, I'm the only aware of us,
Yeah.
and where the singer is actually from Black and Blue, Jamie St. James. He has a Cheap Trick tribute band, and we went and saw him at the Yamava
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to see what the competition looked like. And the bass player played for a band called No Sugar that I was a very short time member of back in the 80s as well. But I played with the original bass player, Timmy Hagman, who was from a band called UIGER. He's actually my neighbor now. We're really good friends, for Thanksgiving. But we have to say, I think we're doing it a little bit closer to the tunes most people know. We're adding more songs. This Sunday we're rehearsing and we're adding I Can't Take It, which is really looking forward to playing that on Sunday. And we're trying to get up a set of like 90 minutes. So if the opportunity presents itself to have more than an opening slot in a tribute show, we'll be ready for that. But in the interim, we're getting, little offers here from different places, Vegas, and um, there's a couple other venues we're looking to get into here in Southern California, just as an opening slot for a tribute, a night. I don't care if we play
Yeah.
first songs. We just want to get out there and play, throw some T-shirts in the audience, and make people laugh and smile.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. When I first hit you up a couple of weeks ago about doing the interview, um, I was sharing with you that I went on your band's Facebook page. I said, you do look a lot like to me like Bunny Carlos, and you said, well, more people actually say I look like Mario from Mario Brothers.
Yeah, especially my mustache. I gotta get a lighter one. That
Yeah.
one's really musk, I guess. But some people think it looks fine. But I at the end of the day, we're trying to be funny. So
Yeah.
you know, I don't smoke. I'm an ex-smoker, but I haven't had a cigarette for 30 years.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna smoke real cigarettes. But I do pull out the bubblegum cigarette and shoot the powdered sugar out, on a song or two. So I'm invested in that visual
I
already.
dig, I dig that, man. See, that's a cool aspect that even if people don't know that you're so into trying to look the part of Bunny Carlos that you go to that extra measure just to do that, just to look the part.
Well,
Yeah.
now the drumming down pretty well, I think. I mean, he's definitely always been an influence ever since I started playing. I feel he has a very unique style. He has a certain type of way he does shuffle beats in a lot of the songs, but he's very tasty. Even like when they're doing a ballad, he plays the perfect drums. I mean, that guy's, I would say he's very underrated drummer because he doesn't get the kudos that I feel he deserves. He's an amazing drummer. I give him a 10 on a 10 for
I
rock
was
and
just getting
roll.
ready to say that. Yeah, you never see him on the cover of Drummer magazine or anything like that. Um,
Um, I really love playing his parts and trying to get as close as possible. But now I'm getting to the point where, I'm trying to watch some of his live stuff more and try and maybe get a little more of his, shaking and his little, his body language when he's playing too, because he has a certain, like a little herky jerky sometimes, but he's playing cool, but he's got a certain moves. I got to put the mirror out in front of the drum set in my studio to start trying to, you know, get that, take it to that level, and then same thing with Joe or Rick Nielsen. He, he's got the look. He's got that double neck Rick Nielsen guitar. He's got all that down. He's getting the guitar parts down real well. But Rick
see,
has a few
yeah,
facial on. He
yeah,
does the flips up, he
yeah,
does
yeah.
the big.
There you go, there you go. You got the look with the cap, but that's what people don't realize. All the hard work that goes into putting on a successful tribute show. Because I've had other guys I've interviewed over years tell me the same thing, that they actually go online and they look at live videos of actual band to really kind of get the part down, get the look down, and Cheap Trick image wise too has always kind of been a PR person's worst nightmare, because you got the two rock star looking guys, Tom and Robin, and then you got the two oddballs, Rick and Bunny Carlos.
Hey,
That's why, like, even if you look at the Heaven Tonight album cover, you got the two rock star guys on the front and you got the other two guys on the back.
it's like In Color. They got the two guys on the Harleys in the front, and you got Rick and Bunny on the mopeds in black and
Yeah.
white.
Yeah, I loved how they always had that. See, that's another thing about Cheap Trick, like you're talking about, is is not just a rock show, but there's a little bit of humor. They always kind of embrace that image, and they went with it.
I always thought, I always loved stand-up comedians, and that's the thing. I love to see a show that rocks, but in the interim of going to a stand-up comedy show, it's always nice to get a few laughs when you're at a rock show too. And some guys are great frontmen and they tell jokes. Ace Frehley was a great joke teller, by the way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
well, I love Steel Panther. That's those guys are, yeah, they're not for everybody because some people are easily offended, but they're great musicians. I've been watching those guys play for, I seen Ralph play when I lived in Huntington Beach. He lived in Huntington Beach. He was in a band called Long Gone and not sorry, Nightfall, Nightfall. And then he was in a band called Long Gone. He opened for one of my friends' bands at the Troubadour called Celebrity. And I've been following that guy. I always thought he was the best front man and he should be a rock star. And I'm so happy for him that he's finally made it to a level that he deserves. He's making a good uh, run on
On it.
playing all
And
New
and,
York
and
last
he
night.
just like Frank Sinatra, he's doing it his way. And I think to have an appreciation for Steel Panther, you have to know a little bit about the history of the guys that play in the band, especially Michael Starr, aka Ralph Sanaz. I first, like a lot of people, when he was in Tracy Guns, LA Guns briefly, they did an EP. Now, the funny thing about it is, before he was ever in LA Guns, he was doing the premier Van Halen tribute out here, Atomic Punks. And
Yeah.
the funny thing is, making more money in a Van Halen tribute band than he was in LA Guns, so he went back to the Van Halen tribute.
I actually played with them at the coach house and talked to Ralph, and that was his last night playing with him. And before he went on to metal school, and of course, what became Steel Panther, Danger Kitty on the interim. But yeah, so no, he was always great, and he deserves every bit of success. And he's actually, people don't know this, but he's actually a super down to earth, cool guy. I love the guy. He's super nice.
And what I really
And
love about the success of Steel Panther, is yeah, people kind of take offense to it, especially other musicians. But what I dig about it is it's not really it's a tribute to the scene, to the 80s rock scene. And they do it with their own original music, is the cool thing about it.
oh yeah, and if you listen to the recordings, I mean, they do everything top notch. They have top notch recording engineers. They have top notch video production. Some of their favorite, some of their coolest videos just make me laugh. They're just they're just comedy and cool rock and roll. And Satchel's just, he's more like my kind of guitar player. So how he plays, that's my style that I love to emulate. Is like he's a shredder. He's way better than me, but he's so good. He used to be he went to GIT, and
Yeah, yeah.
he's just a player. I love his playing. He's
Yeah,
awesome. And of course, Ralph.
another great kind of many people see it as a fictional band that did a great job of mixing up comedy and music was, of course, Spinal Tap. Now, I don't know if you've had a chance to see a new Spinal Tap movie. I urge you to see it if
I
you're, yeah.
I got to see it. I have the original on DVD, and I probably watch it once a year, every year since I've had it. I have to keep watching. There's certain movies you have to keep watching. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I
one of
won't spoil it for you, but if you're a fan of the original one, I urge you to see the new one when you get a chance. I'm not going to spoil the end, but I'll just say you'll be on the floor laughing. And then also, if you're a classic TV fan, to find out that the lead singer in Spinal Tap also happens to be Lenny from Laverne and Shirley.
Michael.
Michael McKean. Yeah, and he's the only one still alive from Laverne and Shirley. All the rest of the cast died. Yeah.
So sad, but no, I'm glad to see they're doing it again. Nigel Tufnell. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah, that's a classic. And like I said, if you're a fan of the original one, you got to see it. I didn't know what to expect, but it was and I can kind of understand why, because I would say it was just as funny, if maybe funnier, only because the newer one is obviously bigger budgeted than the original one. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But Rob Reiner produced it, as I understand. Is that correct?
yeah. He was the guy again that was kind of a reporter, a behind the scenes guy, the director of it, and he was still doing his part. Yeah, and then in the new one, they kind of get together like after 25, 30 years, whatever it was, and do a reunion show.
Fantastic. I can't wait to watch it. I've just been really busy.
Sure,
So
sure. And,
yeah,
and
I'll get.
so, yeah, getting back to your Cheap Trick fandom, is there is there an album in your collection, Cheap Trick one, that you kind of point to and say, yeah, this is the best Cheap Trick album, or this is the one that really does it for me?
Oh, I have to say, I love In Color because it has songs that ended up on Budokan played much heavier.
Uh,
Um, Police. I love some of the newer ones. The one that has I I can't take it.
okay,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exposition, please. I think that was, yeah, yeah,
Please. I love that whole album. There's so many good songs on that album. Unfortunately, as much as I'd want to play that half of them at least, they didn't get many of them on the radio, and so that's the argument I have. Filling up the set with songs that people don't know. You got to put as many that people are going to go, yeah,
yeah,
because unless you're a diehard Cheap Trick fan, some of those songs that are so good, you got to question, well, if we only have this much time, we want to wow them. We want them to say, wow, they played all the songs I wanted to hear. So we feel like we're doing that, but there's some discretion with what you'd call B-sides.
Yeah, yeah.
Slowly find a way to scoot a few of those other songs in. We already have about 25, but right now it's we just played a show last 2 weekends ago in Lake Elsinore, and I think we did 11 songs. We're opening for an Aussie tribute band and another original band in the
Okay.
middle.
Wow.
It
And
went like that. We were having fun the whole time. It was so much fun, but when you're opening, it comes and goes so fast, and
yeah, yeah.
you don't have time to add any new songs.
Yeah, when you guys have a show, like, do you get together like a few nights before and rehearse, or you're pretty tight with what you're doing now? You don't really have to do that.
Yeah, we rehearse. We're rehearsing for 3.5 hours on Sunday this week. We rehearse probably right now. We're doing a schedule of about uh, every other Sundays when we rehearse.
And do you guys all live near each other? Is it kind of a major thing to just to get together?
Not that hard. We let's see. Three of us live within 45 minutes of each other.
Okay.
The singer probably lives another 20 minutes out, so it's not that bad. We usually meet in a central rehearsal facility
Okay.
that close to everybody. Nobody has to go too far out of their way, so it works out fine. Nobody's.
Yeah. I mean, correct me if I was wrong, because I went on your Facebook page and I think it said that the singer you have, he also plays in a Skinner tribute.
No, we were joking about that because the first time he played with us, he had a hat
Oh,
that like Ronnie Van Zant than Robin Zander. So we got him to get a Dream Police type white uh, sheriff's type hat now, and that's what he
okay.
plays.
Yeah. Again, with the humor, I love that though. But it's kind of funny because the reason I asked, I was like, oh, this guy vocal, he's all over the place. He can do he can do Ronnie Van Zant, he can do Robin Zander. That's cool.
Chops on that because after seeing some pictures from that show, we realized he could have easily fit over there too with that look. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're fine tuning on his look. So
Yeah.
we're doing
And so
that. He was
obviously the other guys in the band are just as much of a Cheap Trick fan as you. So when you guys first put the band together, as far as getting a set list together, like do you pretty much do the same set of songs? Do you ever change it up, or does everybody kind of like have a say in the set list?
Yeah, we all had our input. Some of them there's no arguing. I mean, you're gonna play Surrender. You're gonna
Yeah,
play I
yeah,
Want You. Um, a lot of the stuff that's on Budokan we're playing, and so at the end of the day, if you're covering 8 or 9 songs off Budokan, then you got to go look outside of that. What else do we got? We got California Man, of course, um, Dream Police. We that's always a fun one. Um, we're like I said, we're adding. I can't take it.
yeah. Another one I always loved off of Dream Police. I didn't know why it wasn't a bigger hit. I love that song. That Tom Peterson sang lead on. I know what I want.
That one's probably never going to reach the light of day with us. I'll tell you why. I hate to say it, but my bass player doesn't like to sing lead vocals.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, come on, you got to play this. I mean, he has a $8,000 Hamer 8-string Tom Peterson bass that he invested in. He has the real deal. He's playing the same bass Tom Peterson played on a lot of records. So at the end of the day, he's very dedicated and a very good bass player. He's actually a very good guitar player too. But he's been playing bass now for quite a few years, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just
Growing up, I wasn't aware of this, but older I get, and I learn things. I guess Tom Peterson was so invested into being a great bass player that like he was the very first. He actually invented that 12-string bass guitar. Nobody played that before he did.
right. Yeah, no, that's a very true thing, and very innovative. Has a unique sound, and on some Cheap Trick songs, you can really hear that. Um, it's very unique. It adds to a blend that makes our version of Cheap Trick a little more authentic, I guess I should say. That's
Yeah.
So
And
that
then another great song I always loved was, which is kind of one of those kind of deeper tunes that the band throws in their set list every once in a while is "Gonna Raise Hell." It's of course a little. It's probably as close as metal the Cheap Trick actually gets to. Yeah.
we haven't added that one. Some of them in our on our I guess you could say warm up bench, off feeder set. We do
Yeah.
play that on occasion. I wish I would have brought my whole set list in here because there's quite a few that on my phone right now, but then you wouldn't see
We'll have
me
you
for a
come
minute.
back next time. I've enjoyed doing this, Luke. Um, in fact, like you're talking about, when everybody goes to see a Cheap Trick show or even like a Cheap Trick troupe, they have all their favorite hits they want to hear. Um, Now, in regards to some of like even the newer stuff off maybe the last two or three Cheap Trick albums, would you guys ever dare throw one of those in there, or is it too new of a song?
For me, one of the semi newer ones that I wanted to do is "Say Goodbye."
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I like that. Yeah,
The bass parts on that song too, and just the overall song's cool. I don't know if you ever seen the black and white video, but
yeah.
that was when Bunny was still the drummer. But Dax is with the girl. They're like teenagers walking down a train track and stuff. It's kind of cool that he's in that video as well and ends up being the drummer. By the way, who I have to say, I didn't want to like him. I was one of the guys that was like, "Where's Bunny?" People were wearing T-shirts, "Where's Bunny?"
Yeah, yeah.
2 years ago, we saw him. Three of us saw him from the band. I have to say, he does a great job. He does justice to the parts. He doesn't try and make up new parts. He's basically playing Bunny's parts a little tighter, I would say, because Bunny's a little bit of a looser player, but he's doing justice to the parts. He's not taken away from him. So I respect what he's done and trying to keep the legacy of the songs intact, while at the same time just maybe he tightens it up a little bit. He's not as loose hi hat. He doesn't ride on the crash cymbals as much as Bunny did, but he's playing all the fills. He's playing all the beats really close to the originals, and I respect him for doing a good drummer.
And I love that '94 Cheap Trick album. It was done at a time where it wasn't a great seller, but they had a lot of great songs on that album. And then I also love the one they did before that, "Woke Up with the Monster." Um,
Okay.
that was kind of a harder edged album, and my favorite track off of that was actually I love the title track, but I also loved "You're All I Want to Do." Kind of a sexual innuendo there, but it was a fun little song. Yeah,
That's right. Well, anyway,
yeah.
well, we could probably put a little thing up. I know there's a couple other tribute bands that were doing this, including Led Zepp again. They, on their Facebook page on occasion, would put up hey, we're going to be doing some shows in the near area. We're going to let you guys give us a little feedback. We're going to ask you, everybody, we're going to give you 3 songs. They don't say we'll give you the whole catalog. We're going to give you 3 songs. You guys pick the one. We're going to add one more song this week. So whichever one gets the
It's the
most
most
votes,
votes.
that way at least they have some input on hearing something new.
Well,
I'm not
that's
opposed.
a fun way to do it, Luke. Yeah, and then the audience actually feels like they're participating. Um, wow, Luke, I can't believe um, already about that time of the episode to end this, but I had fun doing this. This will be going up tomorrow. I'll send you the link. And like I was saying, if you enjoy doing this, I will have you back and we can talk about um, whatever else cheap, trick related and talk about your band Tricked again. I really dig what you guys are doing because, again, there's not too many Cheap Trick tributes out there. And that's why I think the ones that there are kind of really stand out.
Well, we're a work in progress. We're never happy with the last show. We always, I don't want to say we're perfectionists, but we're gravitating to that so we can make everybody happy and say, wow, we want to blow people away with what we're doing. So
There's nothing
we got to
wrong with
work.
being a perfectionist as long as you're not like an Axl Rose type. Take 15 years to get a new album out.
Out there playing live right now by the seat of our pants, if you want to say it that way. But we just know we have more room for improvement, and you'll see better shows as time progresses.
Okay, well, Luke, I want to thank you once again for doing this. Take care, my friend, and I will be in touch. Okay.
You have a great day.
You too.
Appreciate
Bye
you.
bye.